All right, ladies and gentlemen, good Monday morning, man. Welcome aboard. Quick administrative item. Being up in DC, all the incredible things going on with the foundation, everything incredible going on here at Top Gun Options, and the good work we've been doing, printing money. The schedule got messed up, so technically, this is a they. I am the commanding officer. I screwed up, comma, my team's like, oh, there's a full throttle next week. I'm like, no, there isn't. We just had one like 3 weeks ago. So for all the free people that might be joining us this week, no offense, I'm just at the end, I'll tell you how you can join, but I'm going to press, man. I don't have time to introduce who I am or anything like that, since we just kind of did one, and we have enough new folks. So my fault. So welcome aboard. Other than that, I'm going to treat you like you're a current member. So no offense if you feel a little lost or don't know who I am or anything like that. That's my fault, not yours. Where's all my fellow 51st state Americans? What an absolute beatdown last night of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, I knew after the Cats lost game 6, I'm like, we're going to go up into Toronto and beat them on their home ice, and it's going to be a horror. And I nailed it. So America's just great at everything, including what used to be Canada's national pastime. You know, if you want to come visit the Cup, you can come down to the great state of Florida. What a disgrace. I felt like an ounce of pity or sorrow for the folks, and then that passed rather quickly. Okay, another quick administrative item. We might be full, folks. If you didn't reach out to me already, I didn't check with John this morning. As of last night, John was still answering emails. You guys should have your chat enabled. Wise people, you guys should be able to chat. Don't put it in the Q&A. Yeah, exactly, Rick. I don't want him either. I think Trump's an idiot when he talks like that. We don't want that 51st state, man. Trust me. Chat with everyone. Hold on. You guys can chat with everyone. Sorry about that. Nobody wants that. No offense. Canadians are awesome, man. I'm joking when I say this. I've served. Canadians flew Hornets. I mean, they're just a great group of people. So I can't stand when he talks like that. It's just stupid. But a lot of the things he can be stupid. So anyway, 34 at this round, folks. It's SEC, not Demorex regulations. So after this round, you have to be an accredited investor. So if you're interested in the Demorex offer, I can send you the slides. But you gotta go. We gotta get going like today. You're not gonna make it to Friday, folks. Let me see if I can post these slides in here if you'd like that. Let me close this. I'll post you the slides so you don't have to email me, man. So, because people are still like, hey, man, can I get oh, yeah, let me do this. This PC. Yeah, I'm just going to give you this now. Recent items. Okay. What's going on here? Downloads. I'll give you this now just so you don't have to email me and say, Wiz, can I have the Demorex presentation? All right, it's uploading. So email Wiz, W-H-I-Z, at TopGunOptions.com. Don't be one of those folks who reaches out to me in a year like they do with the REIT and like, I can't believe I didn't get into the REIT. So don't be that guy. Yeah, the replay is right here. I sent it out a couple times during the weekend. I'm still learning this Zoom platform. I think when Dr. Mash was talking for a little bit, I had my calendar up. That was stupid. So sorry about that if you stare at my calendar for 5 minutes before I realized that was up there. So last call. You're not going to make it to Friday if you want to invest. You gotta, once Dr. Mash and John get the 34, we're done, and then we'll be good to go. I'm not going to waste any more time. I briefed it on there. It saved and changed my life. Do you see everything that's happening in front of you, ladies and gentlemen? Did you see this op-ed from my brother in the Wall Street Journal? Morgan Luttrell, Congressman Morgan Luttrell, Lawmaker reborn through psychedelic therapy wants who? The GOP to embrace it. This time, what's today, the 19th? This time, yeah, it was like a 10 a.m. flight. This time, 4 years ago, May 19th, 2021, I was flying into San Diego. Had no clue what I was in store for, ladies and gentlemen. And here we are 4 years later. Imagine, I was doing this last night, man, when I was writing in my journal and looking at the last 4 years. I'm like, God willing, I live another 4. Copy paste. Look at what, if you've been here for 4 years, you've seen what happened to me in the past 4 years and what's happened in this space. I can't even imagine what the next 4 years is going to look like. God willing, and I don't care if you like or hate Donald Trump. If you hate Donald Trump, you got problems. Go heal. If you hate anybody, you need to go heal. He's going to get it done. I mean, Secretary Collins, when I met with the VA secretary 2 weeks ago, he looked me dead in the eyes. He said, Wiz, clearly, if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be us. They didn't, meaning Biden and the Harris administration. Even though, right, Democrats, oh, we're hippies, we're anti-war. No, they're not. We're anti-big pharmaceutical company. Wrong. What happened to all those anti-war hippies from Woodstock? They became old, horrific Karens and white liberal cuck old dudes. Get your vax, get boosted, trust the government, stay at home. Now look at them. Now who's the pro-psychedelic, anti-war, don't trust big pharma party? Man, we're living in incredible times here. But read this op-ed from my brother Morgan Luttrell. Remember, folks, when Marcus came home, when Wiz came home, we were different human beings. Had some healing work to do, and then we did it, and look at us today. His brother saw Marcus and said, "The hell did you do?" He's like, "Well, I better go do that. I'm pretty messed up too." He came home, did some great healing, and now he's a United States congressman. Check out his I didn't give you the link. Read this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, man. 4 years to the day that Marcus and I were flying to San Diego. Okay, so I could not be more 2022, folks. I should be doing this on Wednesday. I'm gonna finish this and get airborne. 2 years ago at the Miami Psychedelic Capital Conference, I was early, right? I mean, I left that pretty bullish. And then 2022, what happened? Oh, there was a bear market under Joe Biden that the media kind of forgot about. The S&P 500 was down 25% after that Psychedelic Capital Conference. No offense to the psychedelic companies, capital was freezing up, okay? I remember Cody saying, man, this is a tough psychedelic winter for all these stocks. Now look at us. We're on the other side of that, okay? So anyway, and I was leaving yoga this morning. There was way too much traffic. I couldn't drive with my knees. I was going to tell you to buy this dip. The dip this morning, it was a no-brainer to buy. You should have shot a bull put spread right at the open. Remember, folks, so that downgrade on Moody's, after the market closed on Friday, 20 minutes after the market closed on Friday, Moody's downgraded our debt. Not one of the most hyper partisan, blatantly partisan things I've seen in the financial space in 34 years, 35 years. One of the most disgusting things I've seen. We're going to talk about in a second. This was a no-brainer. Should have bought the dip at the open. This was like years ago, the inflation number that, people were like, oh my God, we're going to implode. I'm like, no, no, we're not. Let me start grouping some names together. But anyway, so before we get airborne, I have one more political thing to talk about. And let me lead with this. My mom had stage 4 non-smokers lung cancer, and she beat it. God bless her. She's an Irish battle axe, man. Hell, she's going to outlive me. But I pray for former President Biden and his family. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, and I don't have a worst enemy on this planet. So, Mr. President, God bless you and your family. Comma. This is an absolute fucking disgrace. There is no way physically, where's Kid? Where's Chris Proven? I have a lot of buddies who treated and successfully beat. Kids, your fellow TGO member, flies her L-39, sat with the medicine. There's no way they found it last Wednesday. It's a lie. Ladies and gentlemen, this dementia-ridden man, they knew about this ages ago. Dr. Sapphire, all these people on Twitter are like, they clearly know about this. There is no way. Another lie out of these people. They had a man they knew was, and to watch the self-licking ice cream cone on CNN. Well, maybe I should have been a little bit more critical, but I just believed. It's not my fault. I just believed all those close aides who were around him. So it's not us. It's all, these people are disgusting. Rancid power. You know who gets Wife and Mother of the Year award? Jill Biden. In hell. This is a disgrace. They come out with this 2 days before the book's finally going to be dropped about how awful he is. And the her tapes. You hear him on the her tapes? He doesn't even know what color the sky is. Unbelievable, this man. That's not, none of these things are the scandals, ladies and gentlemen. This is the scandal of this republic. Watergate was a joke. Richard Nixon's doing aileron rolls in his casket right now. Like, seriously? The scandal, ladies and gentlemen, is who was running the country. A cabal of Susan Rice's, Obama's, all those pieces of shit. Those pardons on the way out the door, I would challenge them all in court. He didn't sign them. Did you see all the different signature things? I'm furious at this. I need to relax. I need to take my microdose after this brief. I'm furious about this. I'm sad with the diagnosis, furious. I can thank John McCain for his service as a naval aviator and call him a piece of shit as a senator. I can separate the things. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a horror. Yeah, exactly, Greg. You know, Ronnie Jackson, I've met Congressman Jackson, Admiral Jackson. He was there under Obama and Trump as the White House physician. He's like, we know physically everything about the president. He's like, there is no way, unless everybody around him, well, first of all, they missed his like dementia shit, and I guess they just chose to ignore this. I can't stand this. This country was rudderless and let unelected bureaucrats or appointees were running this country. Kind of like what's going on with this constitutional crisis right now, folks. Absolutely unbelievable. Okay. Whew. One more time, I'm going to say this. God bless Joe Biden and his family. It's a horrible diagnosis. I pray he beats it. People are saying, well, if it's anything, that's the one that you can kind of beat. But so, Vic, I know my PSA. If you're a dude, come on, fellas. This is a scandal. Can you imagine what would be going on right now? Breaking news. Joe Biden has decided to step aside as president, and the 47th president of the United States is Kamala Harris. I thank God we are where we are today. All right. It's so wild that this was last week. I wanted to talk about this. I'm done with it. The Trump visit to the Middle East, I've never seen anything like it. Joe Biden went to Saudi Arabia. The mayor of Mecca met him as he came down like the side stairs because nobody wanted him to fall on his face. Why? Well, he went to beg MBS for more oil. And then the Democrats for a week twisted themselves into pretzels about, we can't do this. Well, and he definitely can't shake his hand because he's a murderer. He killed that journalist, Washington Post columnist. If that dude's a Washington Post columnist, I'm the NBC news anchor. The guy wrote like 1 or 2 op-eds. I've written more op-eds than that dude. I don't call myself a Fox News regular or something like that. Anyway, so they fist bumped him. Remember that childish teenage thing? And then after Joe Biden begged in a bunch of meetings, he got on Air Force One, and MBS waited until he was airborne to go, yeah, we're not going to give you any oil. So he emptied the Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve. Remember that? To buy votes. It failed. This was an incredible visit to the Middle East. Deals here, money there, CEOs there, kissing rings. And the only thing Democrats cared about was Air Force One as a gift. They're ignoring the fact that Boeing sucks. Under Trump the first, give me 2 new Air Force runs, red, white, and blue. I'm done with the Jackie Kennedy light blue. I want red, white, and blue. Boom. They're over budget and way past timeline. Gutter, hey, we have a brand new one of these things. Why don't we just do a drug deal? Yeah, I'll take the later one. You guys can have this one. Frothing at the mouth. That's all they cared about with the visit last week. Not that the president, excoriated all the neocons and the neolibs in this country. How'd that nation building go in Afghanistan and Iraq? That's not our job. I mean, it was, I'm telling you, if you didn't take the time to watch that speech, you're a failure. You need to watch it. Trump sounds upbeat on Ukraine ceasefires. Russia unleashes drone barrage. Here we go. So Putin blew off Turkey. When I saw the headline, Putin and Zelensky set to meet in Turkey, I'm like, it's probably too good. And it was too good to be true. Nothing really happened. Of course, Russia is saying not only do we want all the land we've captured, but we want this much more. And, the fact that this is even going on, though, that the president said, I might be picking up the phone to call Putin. Did you hear Joe for 3 years of this war, 4 years of this war in Kamala? Nope. So a potential resolution is somewhere on the horizon. The S&P 500 has almost regained every loss this morning. Damn it, missed that sniper. Next time you get something like a Moody's downgrade at 4 in the after, of course the futures were going to implode. And then look, we are almost back to even today. That didn't last long, folks. This is how you know the rally is strong, ladies and gentlemen. This is awesome. And we'll get to that. And if you're sitting here like, oh my God, when's this guy talk about trading? Welcome to TOPGUN Options. Strategic brief, 10 to 15 minutes. Operational brief, 10 to 15 minutes. Tactical, 30 minutes. So if we get a ceasefire, folks, that's bullish. All these potential black swans. I'm old enough to remember in 2022 briefing you he might use tactical nukes. Can you even believe we were having this conversation? He might use tactical nuke artillery shells. Oh my God. Did you know how close we came to nuclear war? In the files, looking back, people, Woodward and Bernstein are doing reporting like Putin was pretty close to, we were on the precipice of World War III with a guy who shit his pants when he met the Pope. U.S. allies are still waiting for tariff relief even after speedy China truce. Talks with Japan, South Korea, and EU bogged down. Auto tariffs and the U.S. reneging on other deals. So I'm going to be brief with this portion because, yay, China relief rally and everything like this. We're not out of the woods yet, in my opinion. I mean, this is a yay. We still got about 200 points to get back to all-time highs. But I told you last week, man, we're running out of airspeed here. We need more clarity, man. I haven't seen. Has anybody seen a single trade deal? Did you guys see it? I haven't seen it. So the answer is no. We need to see some action, Mr. President. Why is the pen not working? There we go. U.S. loses last AAA credit rating. I can't tell you how funny this was. Excuse me, Friday after market close. I've already given you my political rant. This was the dumbest thing I've seen in a long time. I've seen some dumb shit. I'm old enough to have been in Chicago, 2006, 7, 8, financial crisis. I remember Moody's and S&P analysts going out to dinner at Gibson's with the companies they rate, getting briefcases full of cash. I've seen the IMs and the messages. This was all part of the investigation where nobody went to jail and should have. That's a separate conversation. So, Moody's had no problem with Joe Biden in 2022, 9.1% inflation. They had no problem with the Inflation Reduction Act, the infrastructure. They had no problem. I've lost track of the things that Joe Biden spent, 5 to 10 trillion, whatever it was. Didn't say a word, not a word. This president, man, we got to crack that whip. We're going to start bringing in money. Remember, folks, I don't care how you feel about the tariffs. The man's right. Every day that goes, it's like theta. It's like time decay in our options positions. Every day that's going by, we're collecting money that we weren't before. How hard is this to understand? The United States Treasury is collecting money that it wasn't before. When in a hole, cease digging. Trump is trying to cease digging. Now, the big, beautiful bill and everything like that, we can talk about Republicans still spending more. The 5 or so rogue Republicans in the, what is it, the budget committee that voted no last week? I get it. I agree with them. Okay, we need more fiscal. We need more of that. And obviously, here's what's funny: is if the Trump the first tax cuts expire, it'll be the largest tax hike in our republic's history. Do Democrats want that? So Moody's is a joke. I'm also old enough to remember, I think some of you might have been here. I think Kevin and a bunch of folks who are lifetime members, when they downgraded S&P, downgraded the AAA credit rating under who? Barack Hussein Obama. What happened after S&P 500 downgraded the credit of the United States? The most racist attorney general in our nation's history, Eric Holder, who was held in contempt of Congress, started investigating the S&P 500 for their failures in the 2008 financial crisis. So Moody's and Fitch did what? Nothing. They were both, I was there, folks. They were both getting ready to. They all kind of talked. S&P and Fitch and Moody's were all like, all right, we're going to do this? Yeah, we're going to do this. All right, S&P, you're first. And boom. Eric Holder, I hereby have announced an investigation into Standard. Whoa. Oh my God, Wiz, you're shocked that Democrats weaponized the government against people that disagreed with them? Yeah. Yeah, and the 2023, Scott. Exactly. So anyway, dollar. Here's the problem going on right now. I don't give a shit about bonds except for right now. This is when I start caring about bonds, man. We are in a bond give a shit moment. When the 10-year, okay, what's going on here, man? 10 thing is not working. All right, whatever. Treasuries above 5, not good. That's the bond market breaking. The 10-year. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what is longer date? I'm sorry, 30-year. What is Jerome Powell doing, folks? I mean, if the Moody's move Friday after market close was very partisan, Jerome Powell's just completely out to pasture. Now, CPI last week, folks, one more time, I'm going to hit this, went down. I'm stunned. I'm not stunned after I talked to a buddy in DC. He's like, man, Jesus and the money changers went into the BLS. They've seen other government employees get clipped and try and sue and lose. So I'm a BLS economist. I've been here for 30 years. I've donated to Obama and Biden every time. Oh yeah? You're going to get fired. Whoa. So they're clamping down in all these government agencies with this shit. So they're actually starting to show the truth. So ladies and gentlemen, this going down is very, very bullish news. This is absolutely awesome. are you doing here? Clear all my drawings. All right, whatever. Good news on inflation last week. I can get rid of this. We talked about this last week. Who did great when markets slumped? Us. The smart money bailed. Friday, I got to mention this, consumer sentiment darkens with inflation worries rising. The University of Michigan's closely watched consumer sentiment index. Oh, I don't care about University of Michigan numbers. Everybody knows they're usually full of shit, and they're what? They're big blue. It's Michigan for a reason, folks. Big blue. Democrats oversampled in this. I've already beat this to death. I've never been asked to participate in the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report. We've already beat Jerome into the corner. He's in a lose-lose position. He should be cutting rates. He's not. He will. It's a matter of when. I get rid of this too. We bought the dip. Institutions sold and bailed. The panic selling that was going on, ladies and gentlemen, was nothing. It's just absolutely insane. We are the smart money. Speaking of the smart money, let me show you these idiots. Stevie Cohen, we will retest the lows. Paul Tudor Jones, we will retest the lows. Michael Gayed, we will retest the lows. Katie Stockton, I've heard of two of these people, Stevie Cohen and Paul Tudor Jones. I have no idea who these two people are. So let's be clear, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to open this up. Like Jeffrey Gunlock, April 27th of 2020, after I bought the bottom and said we will never look back, he didn't. He said, no, we're gonna retest those March lows. Wrong. I was right. You guys who were with me were right. Okay, so these people are saying we're going to hit 4,800 again. So, ladies and gentlemen, the smart, I need to bookmark this tweet, bookmark, so I can come back and we can all laugh at this. Ladies and gentlemen, the smart money is saying we're going to lose. We're going to go back down to those lows, April lows. How is that physically possible? Now, I'm telling you right now, I don't think we're out of the woods. I told you that 20 minutes ago. Give me some deals, Trump, or we will, we're going to come back down to the circulatory system down here. There's the 200-day, there's the 20, there's the 50. I don't think we're, show me the money. I feel like, Tom Cruise, show me the money. I don't see anything signed yet. I don't see, the Treasury Secretary was on Maria and I think Face the Nation yesterday. Good. The guy's good. I'd vote for him for president. The first, not that I care, gay president should be Scott Bessent. What a smart guy. Okay. So, but let's remember all these calls from the smart money. Did the Biden administration fudge jobs numbers into the election? Labor Department report raises questions. Does anybody remember me in the fall calling this out? Does anybody remember me saying that's a lie? Does anybody remember me before Barack Hussein Obama got reelected? The same thing happened and they did an investigation and it was a lie. Nothing but horrific, horrible partisanship. These people care nothing but power and money. Democrats have to win. We have to keep funding our NGOs, our non-government entities. I'm a senator. My wife works at this nonprofit that we funnel tens of millions of dollars into. We have to stay in power. Otherwise, they're going to find this stuff out. Okay. Solo Amazon. Look at that, right on time. There's your 30 minutes, 10 to 15 strategic, 10 to 15 operational. Now we get tactical for all the new folks that are in here. Welcome to Top Gun Options. One more time at the halfway point. I made a mistake. We're not supposed to have a full throttle this week. They already sent out emails. Our partners emailed. Welcome to a free week of trading. I'll tell you how to join at the end if you're interested in solo Amazon. This brief is called Solo Amazon. It's every Monday at 10 a.m. What did Amazon do? It went right back down. Look at that. It's almost like I do this for a living. I told you last Monday in the solo Amazon brief, I said it'll go right back down to the 200-day moving average at $200. I drew the line across there, and it was awesome. I don't want the spotlight. There we go. Look, I got my pen back. I'm Joe Biden with the auto pen. What did I tell you? I did this last week. I said we're going to come back down to 200. And that's awesome because look, the gap, I mean, shit, we went from the 20 through the 50 gap. That's filled the gap. 200, we have filled the gap here. Okay. Now it doesn't undo. Annotate, annotate. Okay, man. We are having some problems with this stuff. This is really annoying. I don't want any of this. All right, well, I think that yellow line is going to be on our screen. So our Amazon is going to be up there this whole time. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. Oh, look at that. I figured it out. You got to right click to get rid of it. That's the first time I've seen this. Amazon, ladies and gentlemen, love me some Amazon on a pullback. Wow. Holy crap. Look at the gap down in Amazon, gap up, right back to where we opened. That would have been some beautiful sniper opportunities. All right, now it's decision time for the S&P 500. Look at this. And it's almost like we do this for a living. Remember, all these white lines are whiz put in here. These are at 20, the S&P 500 folks, been doing this for over 3 decades, moves in $25 increments. We closed it at 25. We gapped down to a 25. We hovered for about, what's that, 15 minutes. And now we almost got up to that 25 and failed. So now we're filling this gap to 59.25. And then I'm going to keep an eye on this screen over here to see if we can maybe shoot a snipe. This will be the trend for the day. After we consolidate here, and we're either going to rip up to where 59.50 or we're going to fill down to 5,900. All right, let's go with Amazon. What did we, let me refresh my memory here. Let's go to the member site. Hold on. I don't know why I closed that for whatever reason. Let me bring it all the way over to there. Learning, solo Amazon. If somebody sees the snipe before I do, call it out. All right, so, oh, good. I remember what happened last week. I'm like, man, everything happened last week. Everything is awesome. Carolina Panthers versus or Carolina Hurricanes versus Florida Panthers tomorrow night, game 1. I sold the 212.5 calls out the last Friday. They went out worthless. Good trade. And then I briefed you on, hey man, you could do a couple things. I said I was going to sit on my hands. Why? Because I did not think this was going to happen. Draw. I said what? You can believe Amazon is going to keep going up. It's not. It's going to pull back and come down and retest the lows. Okay. So that's exactly what it did. And I said, wait for the dust to settle a little bit, which it is. Now we can look at a potential trade. I like this, folks. Remember, let me give you a gap brief again real quick. What do I mean by that? Gap up, fill the gap, and up is what? Say it with me. Bullish. Gap up, fill the gap up, bullish. Okay. Now, obviously, gap up, hover, and up. Who did we see that with recently? Like a JP Morgan? I forget. Obviously, bullish. That's a dub bullish. Now, gap up, fill the gap, and then go through it out of the way or pound it is bearish. Okay, so we got 2 bulls and a bear right here. Or, what I think might actually start happening with Amazon is a consolidation, right? we're used to this violence here, man, in all this stuff, aren't we? The up, down, up, all over. And this technically is kind of a gap fill too. Look at that. That's some good looking. That's exactly what's going on here. So let me lead with this again. Is this? Yeah, Brent. I love me some Bart. Some of that rubbed off on me. I mean, I got to be honest with you, folks. Technical, it ain't that hard. You know, I'm a political science major. There's a little 246 over on the S&P 500. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's go out, and I briefed this last week. I'd wait for the dust to settle. Yeah, there you go. I think this gap in SPX will fade and head back down to the 200 moving average. Can I get a golf clap? Hey, Wiz, good call last week. You were absolutely right. Now I'm going to start taking a look at some stuff here. Let's take a look out. Let me look at the flight schedule real quick for the week. I didn't look at this yet. Let's go through it. Monday, a bunch of Fed. I saw some news. Bostic said something this morning. I thought was dovish, or I heard was dovish. I didn't see what he said, so maybe that's why we got another little rip. These are all Fed lieutenants, folks. If you're new and you don't, all these Fed lieutenants are speaking today. They can move the market a little bit, not as much as Jerome. Tuesday. More Fed lieutenants. Wednesday. Crude. I'm starting to pay attention to more of this. Folks, an underreported story is what? For 2 months, from January and February, all you heard was Hakeem and Chuck talk about the price of eggs. You see the price of eggs in the chart? What about gas? I thought he was going to bring down gas. Oh my God, man. Gas, eggs, all that stuff have imploded. Drill, baby, drill. That's money in your pocket, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he said one rate cut this year. I guess technically that's dovish. The way Jerome's been speaking, that press conference when I was in DC 2 weeks ago that I couldn't get into. Here's the cliff notes in a sentence from Jerome Powell. We're going to wait for things to break to act. What? So now, under President Trump, you're going to wait for things to break instead of being proactive like you were with Sleepy Joe? Dude, you cut 50 effing basis points in front of an election. The Fed's never done that because they don't want to be seen as political. You didn't cut 25, you cut 50. As the market was at record highs and inflation was what? Going up? Whatever. He's awful. I used to think highly of that dude. We'll get some PMIs Thursday and home sales. South Florida homes have imploded. Who cares? People want to live near the beach. What's up with all the Fed lieutenants? Friday. Keep an eye on JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, the stability report. They do the stress test, right? All right, so nothing. I looked at this, folks, to see if there's any big macro stuff going on. I'm going to go out. I'm bullish on Amazon. I got out of the way last week. Well, I sold short calls, but they went out worth. Remember, folks, victory in the short calls. Short calls, victory. They went out worthless. That was a trade. I made 100% profit in my short calls. That's a trade. That made money. That lowered my cost basis in Amazon. That's a success. By the way, let's do short calls first out to Friday. How do I pick short calls? Let's not have all strikes. I go and look at the at-the-money straddle. Amazon is at 205 right now. I click on 205. I go down the straddle. I sell it out to Friday, which is May 23rd. It's about $6. That's $12 total. So the options market, not Wiz, is saying Amazon's going to stay below 211 and above 199 out to Friday. That's this Elizabeth Warren teepee, the green right there. That's the price of Amazon going through the top of the Elizabeth Warren. Okay? So that's where I start. So let's go look. The 212 and a half calls that I sold last week would be conservative. you're bringing in 64 bucks. The aggressive short calls would be just at the money straddle. I would sell a single 210 call out to Friday. That brings in 121 bucks. Okay. As I'm looking at the screen, and for all the new folks, I'm going to give you an absolute reminder and warning whenever I'm looking at this order ticket. Do not let Amazon expire above 210 by Friday. Saturday morning in your bunny slippers and your robe, drinking your coffee like Tony Soprano, you will have negative 100 shares of Amazon in your account, unless you had 100 shares of Amazon in your account. Does everybody understand that? Okay. So 210 calls would be aggressive. 212 and a half's not aggressive. Okay. I'll do the 212 and a half calls. All right. And I'll go ahead and copy. I'll get that out right now to our solo Amazon members, just so they have it immediately. And then you can see over here, Amazon trade alerts, new Amazon weekly short calls versus my synthetic stock. I at everyone. So everyone, all you can see grayed out over here, 601 members get this alert. Let me add something about the 212.5 calls are more conservative. You're the tick. You're the trader in command, not me. I'm going to go with the more aggressive, but I always show you what would be a more conservative. So 601 solo Amazon members get an alert on their app right here, which is awesome. Hey, Mike, I think I posted that in here. Remember, this is the Amazon trade alerts thread. So if you got any SIBO commentary, throw that in the Intel and commentary. What is your synthetic position? Does anybody need a synthetic stock? Everybody, well, all the new people are like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about, but I'm ignoring you, no offense. Does any existing member need a new synthetic stock position? Or Mike, I don't recognize your name. You might need a new guy. What time is it? 10:42. All right, I'm gonna. So no offense to the new folks, I'm gonna rip through a synthetic stock position. Why? Because as an existing member, you've already watched your options weapon school training, right? Right down here, session number 6. Synthetic stock. This brief is an hour and a half-ish. I'm going to do it in about 3 minutes. So if you get lost and confused, that's not my problem. So here we go. And let me just, I'll give you a little love. So if you wanted to buy 100 shares of Amazon this morning, okay, Wiz, I love Amazon. I love your solo Amazon service. I want 100 shares of Amazon. Well, I hope you have 20,500 bucks. Do you have 20,500 bucks to buy 100 shares of Amazon today? No. Well, I am going to change your life right now, former stock trader. You're a chump, and all offense intended, if you want to buy 100 shares of Amazon. It's stupid. I'm going to show you how to use options to do the exact same thing as buying 100 shares of Amazon. The average holding time for most Americans in a stock position is a year, if that, maybe 18 months. I'm going to show you how you can control that right there, that 100 shares of Amazon, you're going to control for the next 2 years for a fraction of the cost. This is the time when most people go, oh my God, how come I'm not an options trader? If you're bullish, what are we at right now? 205. There's a 205 strike out to December of 2027. I'm going to hop in my time machine and get bullish 942 days into the future. Bob will answer that in a second. Now, if I'm bullish on Amazon all the way out into the future, out to December of 2027, what could I do? Well, Wiz, I know, even though I'm new to options and TOPGUN options, I know if I buy one options contract, that allows me to control 100 shares of stock for that entire time period, right? Right. So if I buy one December of 2027, 205 call, how much is it, Wiz? $5,300. Would you rather spend 20,500 or $5,000? I just saved you $15,000. I ain't done yet. When you buy a call, you're bullish. When you buy a put, you're bearish. You've heard that, right? Like, uh-oh, something's going to go down. I'm going to buy some puts. Well, guess what? There's somebody on the other side of that trade. I want to buy a put because I'm bearish. I'll sell you that put because I am what? Bullish. Put buyers bearish, put sellers bullish. So I am going to sell the same expiration, the same strike, 205 put. Now, look at the picture real quick. That's long stock. That's what we call synthetic stock. It's the exact same position. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were buying 100 shares of Amazon today, you're out $20,500. If you wanted to just buy that one call option, you would be out $5,300. My call sign's Wiz, folks, right? Because I'm a wizard. Now look at how much this trade would be. $1,900. I want that to sink in. There's not one person on this planet that can tell me, well, I'd rather spend the $20,500. You're an idiot. Well, Wiz, I know with synthetic stock, I don't get it. You don't get a dividend because you're not a shareholder. Then you know nothing about Amazon and Jeff Bezos. The guy doesn't know what the word dividend means. He has said since he started the company, if we make a dime, I'm putting the dime in the company. I'm not giving it back to a stupid shareholder. That's why it's called the Death Star. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. There ain't no dividend, chump. Well, I want to buy the shares because I want to vote. Are you that stupid? Jeff Bezos and his ex-wife own probably one or two more shares than you'll ever own in your life. Your vote means squat. Those are the only two things you don't get when you do synthetic stock. Now, but let's look at something I ignored real quick to look at a picture. What's the max potential loss in this trade? People usually freak out right now, like, well, see that there's always a catch, Wiz. $22,000 are at risk. Hey, Einstein, if you buy 100 shares of Amazon today, what is your risk? Oh, wait a minute. If Amazon goes to zero, I could lose all of it. It's the same risk. It's a little bit more because of the short put, but let's just round up. It's the same risk, genius. Both long stock and synthetic stock have the same risk of what? Oh my God, what if the Death Star, the aluminum Falcon blows it up again? If between now and December 2027, Amazon goes to zero, what if you own shares? You're out $20,500. What if you own this position? You're out that. Let me do one more cool thing to minimize this. You know what, Wiz? I want to buy some protection. What do we call a disaster in trading? Breaking news, the S&P 500 is down 20%. It's in a bear market. Or breaking news, Amazon is, closed at whatever today. It's down 20% from its record high. It's in a bear market. Why don't we buy a disaster put that is 20% under the current stock price? Check this out. So I'm going to round down to 20. 20 and 20 is 40. So it's about 160. 20% under the current price of Amazon is about 160. So I'm going to buy, oops, it's already on there. I'm going to buy the 160 put. Yeah, it might be closer to what? All right, 165, whatever. What happened? Well, I'm coming out of pocket a little for some insurance, Wiz, so the price of the trade is going to go up a little bit, obviously. Okay? But watch this. The previous synthetic stock position was risking 22,000 whatever bucks. Now, look at the risk. $7,700. And if you're trading in a margin account, folks, you don't need 7,700 bucks in your account. I'm not going to do the math for you. You probably need a grand or two to do this trade. Again, depending on your, I don't know anything about you. Ladies and gentlemen of the juror, why the F would you buy another share of stock again in your life when you can do? So again, Amazon goes to zero between now and December 2027. How much do you lose as the stockholder? All of it, 20,500 bucks. What if you just did the synthetic stock I covered? I'd also lose 22,000 whatever. Don't buy. If Amazon goes to zero in the next 2 years, how much can we lose with this protective put in the position? 7,700 bucks. So if you were a stock trader, you're never going to do it again. It's a waste of money. Okay? Now, I'm not done yet. I already did this 12 minutes ago, but guess what? I'm going to bring in a little bit of cash every week to pay off this 3,700 bucks by doing what? Selling a Friday upside call. Friday, come on, scroll. What did I say? The 210 was the aggressive, right? Look at that, folks. I just reduced the cost of this trade by 100 bucks. Hey, folks, 100 bucks is 100 bucks. It's a crappy bottle of wine. You do that every Friday this week. It's 500 bucks a month. What's 500 bucks times 12, ladies and gentlemen? So, ladies and gentlemen, if Amazon doesn't move at all for the next 12 months, you pay off this trade. Of course, Amazon's going to move. You only do synthetic stock, folks, on trades that are going to move what? Up and to the right. Solid names. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you had no idea what synthetic, I wasn't going to do this, but if you have no idea what synthetic stock is, there was your synthetic stock brief. If I lost you, don't worry about it. When you join today, you're going to get Options Weapons School, and you're going to go watch that session 6 20 times and drill it into your head. Let me grab a screenshot. Most people should have this trade on, except all the free folks that are joining us today. You're welcome. I just gave you a beautiful free trade all the way out into the future, folks. Amazon's 519. I'll grab a screenshot of the metrics page. I already have this position in my personal account and the model portfolio, so I'm not going to duplicate it. But if you just landed from Mars, no idea anything about TOPGUN Options, you're welcome. This is a long-term bullish position on Amazon that makes stock traders look like chumps. Isn't this a beautiful trade, folks? Does everybody love this thing? I love it. Okay. So you are welcome. So I'm not going to do this trade. However, I am going to give it out to the members. Yep, it's called it's Solo Amazon, folks. Trade group Solo Amazon. It's 97 bucks a month. If you don't have 97 bucks a month, you shouldn't be trading. It's $970 for the year, and you get 2 months included if you do the annual. Do the annual membership now. Oh, and before I forget, the Options Weapons School is an upgrade, folks. You gotta, after you buy either your monthly or your annual, it'll say, hey, do you want to take the Options Weapons School training? It's 297 bucks. Other places charge a couple grand for some pretty crappy trading. I don't. I mean, it's the price of a nice dinner here. Okay, solo Amazon trade alerts. New Amazon. What is that? What was the expiration? God, my memory sucks. D's 27. Folks, I'll answer. This is why I limit membership at TOPGUN Options. There's hundreds of questions flying by, and I have zero time to do it. I will scroll up and try and answer questions. That's why I keep the membership tight. This is why I don't do full throttles often. I like a nice, tight-knit group so you can get some nice training here. Let me blast out the alert. I have a bull put spread I want to do too. So now you're seeing why we limit membership. New Amazon, D's 27, long-term bullish synthetic stock with protective put. I mean, that's a lot of words, but that's exactly what the trade is. Protective at everyone. Then I'll go grab the images. Isn't this awesome, folks? In the old days, it was a text alert with, now, man, you get an app alert with the actual image of the trade on your phone. You could be sitting in death by meeting and you're going to get an alert. So there's the two images. I at everyone, and then I have to, after the brief, I'm going to go give it to my lifetime folks too. Over here in the Max Afterburner. That's our most elite. Let me write something down real quick. Welcome. Okay. Okay. I'm not going to say any questions on synthetic stock. I have stuff to do. I'm going to go out. I like Amazon here, fill in the gap. It should technically be bullish. Sorry, Straddle. Out to June 6th, D-Day. Let's see how wide. That's a $20 wide straddle. Down to 195. Let me look at the chart. I mean, that's right. There was 195 with some good chop back in March. Resistance, 195 level, it was resistance here for a couple days, and then we ripped through it. If we fill this gap and don't hold the 200, the next stop will be 196 at the 20-day, or 195, 196-ish. So I like this bull put spread. Don't forget, we can leg into what I call an iron condor. It's a range-bound trade. But at least now, since Amazon's going down, I would start with the bull put spread. That doesn't make sense to you. It's because you didn't watch your Options Weapon School Iron Condor training, which you need to start today. Nice job, Jeff. Awesome. Up 8 grand in your synthetic stock already. Folks, I don't want to be super predictive, but if Amazon keeps moving up and to the right, like I think it should for the next, until DESA 27, for whatever that was, 3 grand today, this is a $50,000 to $75,000 trade, maybe 100 grand. If I asked you, would you invest 3 grand, $3,500 today to potentially make 50 to 75 in 2 years? What would you say? If you say no, exit the Zoom right now and go find something else to do. And I'm not joking. You have no idea what you're doing. If you're not willing to spend $3,500 or whatever that position was right now to potentially make 50 to 75 grand, you have no idea what you're doing. Why the silence? My bull puts my credit spread minimum SOP is what? Say it with me, folks. 1 to 0.25. So this bull put spread, and I don't, the more aggressive bull put spread would be up at the 197.5, 195. I would not do this right now. Why? You know what? Let's wait. I'm going to wait a day. I want to see how today shakes out because look, we already did the apogee here. Let's go look. Or the SPX did, not Amazon. Look at SPX. So we did the, what did I say? Either up to that or down to that. We're heading down to 59.25. I'm going to wait a day for this bull put spread. Why? Because I want to see if we hang here. I need the rest of today and tomorrow to see if we find some footing here. If we don't, it starts going down, bear call spread. I'll pound it into the dirt. One more time, channeling my inner Bart. If we go up, it's bullish. If we break this, it would be bearish. So remember, and I'll copy paste the conversation from last week. I don't force trades. I wait a little to watch the battlefield to develop. You can. You're the tick. You're the trader in command. I don't fly your airplane. I don't trade your portfolio. I'm a single seat fighter pilot. You're a single seat trader. So I'm going to wait for the picture to develop a little bit. It's exactly what I'm going to do for Amazon. But I like the chart, man. We're out of the woods. For all of you, I think the last solo Amazon like free brief I did was like a month ago. It was like around here. What did I tell you? I said, sell the wife and kids, mortgage the house, synthetic stock. If you did synthetic stock on Amazon at 165 or 150, I expect a Hanukkah gift this year. You've made filthy money in a month on Amazon. Now, Wiz, I wasn't here and I'm kicking myself. Amazon's going to move up and to the right for the next 2 years, folks, period. That's exactly what's going to happen. So I'm not, don't shoulda, coulda, woulda. My synthetic stock in one of my personal accounts is up here at like 220. So I'm a little underwater with it right now, but I'm selling my weekly calls. I'm doing spreads and I'm lowering that cost basis. So I'm a little flat to underwater in one of my positions. Don't worry about it. I'm up here, folks. So synthetic stock with Amazon at 205 is obscene. 2 months ago, folks, we were at 242. If you can get Amazon at 205, we're going to see 242 again real soon. Okay. One more time, I'm going to say, folks, Trump needs some. I love the talk. I love the tweets. I need deals. I need to see somebody in the Oval Office or the Rose Garden or whatever announcing a deal. I'm not good. Elaine, the Top Gun app is called Go Collab. GOKOLLAB. In the App Store and the Android Store, it's called Go Collab. Okay. For all the new folks, welcome. You got a free week of trading here that was not planned, or it was planned and I wasn't paying attention. That's my fault. So you're welcome. 90 set this, the free brief you just attended just now is called Solo Amazon. What did we talk about? A lot, but the only trading we're doing is in Amazon. We also take a look at XLY. It's an ETF that has 25% Amazon in it, some Tesla, some Starbucks, McDonald's, Home Depot, Target. It's a good ETF, but it's similarly priced to Amazon right now. I traded the XLY a hell of a lot more years ago when Amazon was a $3,000-$4,000 stock, didn't I? But now they're similarly priced. And if, let's compare Amazon over the past year to the XLY. The XLY is actually outperforming Amazon by a little bit right now. Right? So, or I'm sorry, Amazon. Sorry. The XLY is that, and then the green line is actually Amazon. So XLY outperforming Amazon by a little bit. Had that inverted. So you're in solo Amazon. It's $97 a month. This is our gateway drug. This is our entry into, hey man, this is our trial. When people are like, do you have a trial? I'm like, yeah, it's called Full Throttle. You get a free week. No, after that, no. It's $97 a month to at least see what we do here for a month. And then, most people do the $97 a month and then in a couple months go, hey, put me in the annual. I'm going to save some money. So if that's you, do it. Or if you're smart, you take the annual right now. And then one more time, I'm going to remind you, after you get which plan, the monthly or the annual, take the options weapons school upgrade. It's $297, folks. That's obscene. It's a steal. You get you get your manuals, your workbooks, the primary, intermediate, and advanced workbook. Folks, those are $197. Wait a minute. It's $97 for a month. He's giving me manuals for 190. I just made $100. Now you're learning. Now you're a trader. Now you're getting it. All right. And then obviously start watching your options weapon school training, folks. We take a building block approach. This is the market. These are stocks. These are options. This is the basics of options, calls and puts. This is covered calls, spreads. Synthetic stock is all the way down at session 6, folks. If you kind of hung with me for most of this brief as I talked about that trade, good on you. Okay. All right. Let me scroll up real quick and answer some questions. I didn't mean to ignore you, but man, 180 people in here at the peak. It's a big brief. What's the name? I answered that. Yeah, that was a big options expiry, Bob, last week. Mike, I do understand synthetic stock. Why December instead of January leaps? Do you buy any? So I answered the second part. Yeah, we put a protective put on. Why December? Because that's as far out in time as I can go. When I do synthetic stock, folks, I hop in my time machine and I go out as far out in time as I can go. That's the XLY. Sorry. Looking at the wrong expirations. Does that make sense? That's a whizism. You can go out to wherever you want to go. Okay. I went 900. If there was a June 27, I'm sorry, a June 20. Oh my God, 28. Don't wish my life away. So folks, that's as far out as I can go. That's where I place my trade. I go all the way out. James, absolutely. Every TOPGUN Options member should have a calendar reminder in the beginning to middle of October. It should come up every year that says what? Bullish Amazon. Amazon tends to have a Santa Claus rally. We print money around Christmas every year. We have a Merry Christmas. Good people answered you about your selling one call. Yeah, only sell one call against your broker's probably not going to. If you wanted to sell 2 weekly calls against your one synthetic stock contract, you're going to get an error unless you're a trillionaire. They ain't letting you sell naked calls, folks. Don't ever sell naked calls. I think I answered all these as I was going. So me ignoring people wasn't ignoring people. I gave them a brief. When do you roll the synthetic stock to minimize theta decay? Terry, I don't. So the December 2027 position, I won't look to start closing that until October, November of 27. I'm in it until then. And then I'll close it and put on a new one 2 years out into the future. The short call out to Friday is what you're talking about, I think. If I'm looking at a 70 or 80 or 90% profit on that short call that I took in, I close it. Or I can roll it up if it's in trouble, okay? And then I eject at double the credit that I take in, okay? You can sell bear call spreads without the long, yeah, exactly. Yeah, a bear call spread is in and of itself covered, exactly. Okay. I went 8 minutes long, folks, because I gave a little intro at the beginning for the free week. Because Elizabeth Warren claimed she was an American Indian, and it's a teepee. It's a joke. It's a Pocahontas joke that Trump loves to make. All right, guys. Tomorrow is the primary live trade brief. Okay, so we're done with solo Amazon. Now we start getting into full throttle stuff. Right now, I'm going to send this alert out. New Amazon weekly short calls and new DEES 27 SIN stock. So this is my lifetime group. These people are the best of the best, the elite of the elite. We have 220. We just got some new folks, 220 lifetime members in this elite organization. Let me put the short calls in there. Maybe one day you can upgrade and be in there. So, oh, I didn't get filled on my short calls. I got filled. There. Now he just got filled. I think I put that too. I put 210 calls aggressive. 212.5 calls conservative. Folks, again, for the new folks, my apologies. I didn't give you a super welcome aboard or who I am or any stuff like that. This is a mistake week, but you're getting a lot of free shit this week. Conservative. Didn't mean to do that. That is my fault. All right. Any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the way, like I said, this is our lifetime group. There's 220 members in here. This is our most elite service. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, it's going to be a good series, man. Canes look good. Both the Canes and the Panthers are a grind down people. They'll grind you down, man. One more final call with Demerex. Shoot me an email. I think it's 11:11. Thank God we are on the right path. That is our signal. It's 11:11. Demerex, if you want to invest, you can lose every penny, folks. Let me be really clear about that. But Deborah Mash, her science team, and ibogaine, neuroibogaine, destroyed alcohol in my life. I got my life back because of ibogaine. Scores of other veterans I have helped with ibogaine are different human beings. Can you lose all your money? Yeah. If this gets where it can be, Spravato, the S-ketamine, was $1 billion last year for Johnson & Johnson. No offense to people who do it in the ketamine, and if it helps you and it heals you, God bless you. It ain't this. So either Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly, Gilgamesh, all these other big farmers are going to swoop into Demerex and buy me, Deborah, and you out for a shitload of money, or they're going to do that and put it on the shelf. I hope they don't do that. Remember, folks, ibogaine, iboga is free. God put it on this planet for us to heal. But the way they're doing all the science stuff, you don't have to go to Mexico for a 12 to 14-hour ass kicking. This can be Demerex, the drug you can take, and you can get to the destination without the journey, is what Deborah says. So final call for investors into Demerex, and then we're done. Wiz at TOPGUNOptions.com. Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Oh, by the ways. Yeah, HRTs to the moon, folks. Healing Realty Trust. I'm so excited. I'm so excited with everything, man, in this space. I love this. Make sure you read this from my brother Morgan, Congressman Luttrell. What a great American, man. He and his brother, his family, good human beings. So we are saving and changing lives, folks. If you want to join the team, let us know. Susie had a great retreat this weekend up in Fort Pierce. Our first retreat in the great state of Florida. We're going to start doing more local retreats down here, especially in the winter. I mean, I love Oregon. I love my brothers and sisters in Colorado, but January, February retreat in Colorado, how about we come down to the Sunshine State? All right, I got to go. I'll get the replay posted here shortly. Free people, join Solo Amazon. It's $97 a month, man. Become a member and get in the door here at Top Gun Options. All right, I got to go. Have a great rest of your day. Fights on. Namaste. And Basi. Basi. Basi means truth. I'm the way, the life, and the truth. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.